I've been doing this job a long time, and when you go on these international tours, you're like, you start to say, what's the weirdest show we can do? And at the time, this was before The Masked Singer was in the U.S. So it's like they have this show called The Masked Singer, which is huge in South Carolina. We're doing that show. We have to go do that show.
In the glittering, often volatile, and undeniably captivating world of Hollywood, where fortunes can be made or shattered with the slightest misstep, and a single role can define a career, the Deadpool franchise, with its unique blend of irreverent humor, fourth wall-breaking antics, and above all, the undeniable charisma of Ryan Reynolds in the title role, had become a cultural phenomenon. This franchise was a guaranteed hit. However, a dark cloud began to gather on the horizon, a brewing controversy that would ultimately threaten the very foundations of this success story. This controversy, a complex and multi-layered narrative of behind-the-scenes maneuvers, shifting public perceptions, and the potential consequences of a high-profile dispute, centered on Blake Lively, a highly respected actress whose once celebrated partnership with Reynolds had seemingly reached a breaking point. What actions, what decisions, and what ultimately led Marvel Studios, a titan of the entertainment industry, to take the extraordinary and, for a star of Reynolds' caliber, previously unthinkable step of filing a lawsuit against him. Prepare to be drawn into a story that explores the delicate interplay of celebrity, the often unforgiving forces of public opinion, the power dynamics that shape the film industry, and the potentially devastating consequences of a dispute that has sent shockwaves throughout Hollywood. And before we dive into the story, make sure you subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. We would love to know what you think. Please share your comments and let us know what's on your mind.
My relationship with my father, which was very complicated and difficult. My dad was a very, I come from a middle class, kind of blue collar home, and my dad was just of that generation where it's just like, he was Clint Eastwood, less is more. Simple grunts is how he communicated.
Okay, gotcha.
I think people tell themselves stories, and this sort of comes back to your worldview that you just mentioned about.
The initial stirrings of trouble, the first whispers of discontent that suggested all was not as seamless and harmonious as it might have appeared to the casual observer, did not originate on the set of a Marvel film. Marvel, a company known for its careful control, had a reputation for carefully planned productions. Instead, the roots of the controversy, the first seeds of the brewing storm, began to take hold around a separate film project, a standalone production that Blake Lively had, at one point, embraced with apparent enthusiasm and considerable anticipation. The director of this film, a creative force known for crafting stories that were both emotionally resonant and visually compelling, had been granted substantial creative control, serving not only as a co-writer and producer, but also playing a significant role in the film's cast, affording them a significant amount of influence. This multifaceted involvement allowed the director to exert influence over nearly every facet of the production, including, and perhaps most crucially, the film's intended overall creative direction, a point of contention that would contribute to a widening rift between the key players involved. This project was, in many ways, a high-profile endeavor for Lively, a chance to further expand her already impressive portfolio of work and to solidify her position as a leading actress in the industry. But trouble was, of course, on the horizon. What do you guys think about this? Let us know in the comments section below.
And I'm really excited. But as I've gotten a little bit older, I sort of want to. Really, I'm lucky that I get to work in this industry, and particularly incredibly fortunate that I get to work in it this long. But I really want to work with people that are either immensely talented or people that I love and that I'm genuinely best friends with. And unfortunately, Hugh does not qualify as either of those. But I am excited because I'm a Logan fan. So. And then, that covers Will Ferrell as well. That's a guy that my entire life, I feel.
Early reports from the production and persistent rumors that circulated within the industry indicated that tensions and disagreements began to surface between Blake Lively and the director. These disagreements, which had been described to various sources close to the project, were primarily focused on a number of key areas. These included proposed revisions to the script, the strategy for marketing and promoting the film in the lead-up to its release, and perhaps most significantly, the film's overall creative direction. Sources close to the project described Lively expressing a growing dissatisfaction with the direction in which the film was heading. There were reports of a feeling that the film was evolving in a direction that did not fully align with her own artistic vision, a growing sense that the production was heading in a direction that did not fully reflect her artistic sensibilities. This eventually created a very large divide. These disagreements were not merely a matter of creative differences, but had begun to manifest into something far more significant. These differences were, in reality, a fundamental clash of artistic principles and differing perspectives on the very essence and the intended outcome of the project.
No, I mean, I always thought I'd end up as in law enforcement, like my family. So I didn't imagine that acting was a way to get out of the house. It wasn't really like a passion when I was a kid. It was something that I was already doing at home, you know, to survive. So
Right.
you kind of, I noticed when I was a kid, making people laugh was a great self-defense mechanism. It really helped me kind of navigate my way through my own home with my older brothers and my dad, and I could diffuse them by making them laugh.
Then, the drama began to escalate significantly with the emergence of what were described as leaked text messages. These communications, which were allegedly attributable to Blake Lively, provided a new piece of evidence and served as a turning point. The text messages appeared to place the blame for the developing issues and disagreements squarely on the shoulders of the film's director, and included the serious allegation that he had engaged in certain behaviors that were ultimately intended to undermine her role. Some of the text messages included strong suggestions that the director had been actively working to manipulate various media outlets for the express purpose of misrepresenting Blake's actions. The release of the messages was a turning point, and the situation raised new questions and concerns. The situation, as it developed, drew parallels to the Amber Heard case. The Heard case was one that would forever change the entertainment world. This created a climate of uncertainty. The comparison sparked fear and debate.
It's based on a beautiful, really important book, and it's about a young woman named Lily who confronts the generational cycles in her life and breaks them and ends the circle. And I hope people find it inspiring, and yet also, it's a film about a heavy topic. It's about domestic violence.
As the story unfolded, the focus naturally shifted to Ryan Reynolds and the potential impact that the situation could have on his future with the Deadpool franchise. As you might expect, the perception of an actor is everything, and Reynolds, having created the role, was now the center of attention. The concern grew. The rumors were that executives were worried about the controversy hurting the brand. Before we move on, don't forget to like this video and subscribe.
About a month ago, this really hit home with me too. About a month ago, I was sitting in traffic and I was just like jamming These Dreams by heart. I was killing it in the car. And there was just this busload of high school kids that were parked right beside me. I didn't even realize. I looked over and every one of their jaws were just on the ground laughing their friggin' guts out at me.
The Marvel situation had major consequences. The studio wanted to protect its brand. Here is what you think. What will happen? Drop your comments below.